Yo, what's going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a brand new episode of Saturday Night Locals featuring Speedroid Kashtira. I did have some Rika matches that I recorded, and I know with Phantom Nightmare coming out, there are some new potential like plant support cards in there, some new Aromage stuff, and yeah, I was gonna upload those. I honestly played pretty bad, not even gonna lie. I'm very rusty with the deck. I had very little practice going into the tournament, and it was a rough experience all around. So I don't even know if I'm gonna go through with even going over those, especially since the deck might change a great deal, you know, come this like next week. So just kind of sticking with the tried and true, because there's no wind support. Of course, Konami just keeps stiff arming the wind decks. Fair enough. But you know, it is what it is. And I decided I'd take a little break from the Rika deck for this particular tournament, because this is a cash tournament hosted by the one and only DB Lurker, you know, stand-up local guy running cash tournaments in the community for us. This was number 51, and we you know, we usually do them online on DB, but you know, we actually held one at our locals. I think it was $22 entry, and I wanted to play something I was a little bit more familiar with, a little bit more confident with, and Speed Cash obviously was that deck. 4 rounds of Swiss, top 8, etc., etc. And first place gets $225 cash and a couple playmats. So yeah, I think you can see my decision to play something, again, I'm a little bit more familiar with. So what am I playing against right now here in round 1? I got the Mannadium matchup, which honestly I have not played in a long time. I think the last time I played against Mannadium was back when I was playing Infernoble. I was actually playing against C Goody, the one and only C Goody, back when he was on that deck. And right now, I really don't have a whole lot of an idea of what the end board is going to look like, right? I've envisioned it, what it looks like in the past. You know, you've got like Baron, Dispotter, Appaloosa, the reframing trap, and you know, that's quite a few interruptions, right? You know, a couple Omni negates, monster negate or pop, and then more monster negates on top of that. I do main Droll and Awkward. My hand trap lineup is pretty much exactly the same as it was in the last Speed Cash profile. And I don't really see a need to change anything outside of like the non-engine, or maybe one extra deck slot, if anything. But I'm playing 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 3 Droll, 2 Bell, and 3 Enemy Controller. I thought about playing Droplet, but then it quickly occurred to me that I am siding Dimensional Shifter, and you know, those two obviously don't go very well together. You've also got Econ. You know, it just works great with the cash stuff, so I wanted to keep playing that. I don't mind that card in the slightest. It just, part of me thinks like, you know, I've been playing Econ for so long, maybe there's something else that could be put in its place, maybe just like Effect Veiler or something. I'm not sure. Also, I know some people asked in the past, that app that I was just using on my phone to look up Room Heart is called Yugipedia. Yugipedia, like encyclopedia, but with Yugi in front of it. It's a great app. I've been using it for years. It's got like test hand features and stuff, so it's a quick and easy way to look cards up mid-game, so you don't gotta, you know, ask your opponent. Especially since my opponent is taking their sweet time with their combo. And I was keeping an eye on the clock. And you guys will see that I do. Well, I think I look in between games. Like, it honestly felt like the combo was a lot longer than it actually was. I don't know. At least this game felt a lot longer. Yeah, like this game, it felt like the combo took forever. And I'll be honest too, like, I haven't had a whole lot of like time to test, just because I've been trying to balance a whole lot of things right now, and like Yu-Gi-Oh! And photography, and you know, the business side of both those things, the YouTube channel, all this other stuff, right? Which, by the way, there may be something pretty exciting coming up that I am very excited to share with you guys in the future. You'll have to stay tuned for that. But Yeah, so I just haven't had the time to, like, fully lock in, right? So a lot of things that are happening on my opponent's field right now, I'm just like, okay, you know, what does it do? You know, my opponent, what does it do? Like, I know the basic effects of some of the cards, but, you know, for the most part, I'm kind of just along for the ride, if that makes any sense. And luckily, I have, like, a basic idea of what this Mannadium deck does. Although the route my opponent takes it on, I definitely was not expecting. And you guys will see what I mean by that. Also, if we just get a look at my hand here, it's really weak. We don't have any non-engine, which is insane. Considering I play, like, just like going second cards in general. You got 3 Fenrir, 3 enemy controller, 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 3 Droll, 2 Bell. That's like, what, 17 going second cards? And I didn't draw a single one in 40. I was a little upset, but you know what's going to happen, right? Yeah, and I'm just looking cards up because, you know, I want to make sure my opponent also isn't cheating me. Because, again, I don't know the deck well enough, so my opponent could easily have pulled a fast one on me. And, you know, maybe that they're not doing it on purpose. Like, this particular player I don't see too often, so I don't know how well versed they are with their deck. So I want to make sure they're messing up, and they might not even know it. And they go into this, like, Pyro Banshee rank 4, which I was like, okay, what the hell is this? Like, this is new. The Cross Sheep, the Vicious Astral Loud Pack, like, all this stuff, all familiar. And then he overlays into this Pyro Banshee to search Nemesis Flag. And I'm like, okay, these I know what the Nemesis cards do. Strangely enough, they, like, summon themselves by putting back banished cards. And I used to play Nemesis Corridor back in Speedroid, like, way long ago, because it's, like, a cool level 4 wind extender that you could, like, use off of Rubber Band Shooter. Because, like, you're always banishing something for cost of Rubber Band Shooter, and that'll make a cool extender to, like, link climb into something, or it's a level 4 body to, like, synchro with or whatever, right? Because you don't have, like, too many level 4 bodies in the Speedroid technique. Outside of Double Yo-Yo and Piper. But, yeah, so that's the only reason I memorized that. And, like, it's a very obscure thing. I don't know why I can't memorize what Mannadium stuff does. And it's not necessarily just Mannadium stuff. You got, like, Scareclaw stuff in there. You got, like, Reichheart. You got Lightheart. You got Reichphobia. All those things. You got Scareclaw Cash, which, of course, I know what that does because I played it in the deck. And, yeah, this is also turning into one of those... yeah, and then... Arch Nemesis Eschatos, Protoss's evil brother, which summons itself by banishing 3 different types from the graveyard. So I think it was like Warrior, Fairy, and something else. Or Warrior, Beast Warrior, and Fairy. And then he calls Psychic. So now I cannot summon Psychic monsters next turn, which means no cash cards. So, like, that's a pretty heads-up call, but, like, you know, a lot of people play cash cards, whether they're playing, like, a cash engine or they're just playing Fenrir's, just because Fenrir is one hell of a card. So I'm picking up, reading it, I'm like, okay, this is legit. This is legit. I'm probably losing now, and also we're just going into the mode of, like, this is going to be a game where I don't play a single card, because I'm just seeing what my opponent's deck does. I'm not going to show them what I'm playing, because why would I do that, right? I don't want to give them an idea of what to potentially side in going into this next game. I want to leave them completely blind, because you just got to be able to, like, look at your hand, like, keep it in most simplest terms. Look at your hand, look at your opponent, look how many interruptions they have versus how many plays you actually have. And right now I have, like, Planet, which is dead because of Eschatos. And then I've got Terror Top and Tetherwolf, which, I mean, he's got Reframing and Baron. That's 2 Omni Negates right there. He's also got SP and Apo. So, like, just there's no world where this works out. So obviously I go ahead and admit defeat. Again, not showing my opponent what I'm playing. And we're just going to go ahead and go into game 2 here. Quick shout out to Imperium Duelist, guys. Check them out at the link below. Got all sorts of amazing TCG accessories, binders, playmats, sleeves, and more. Use discount code WinnerKills at checkout. Save 10% off your entire order. Support the channel in the process. And don't forget to use my TCG Player affiliate link found in the description of all my videos. Anytime you guys shop and check out using that link, a small bit of the revenue from your purchase will go right back in the channel and helps out a ton. So here in game 2, we open up side deck cards. We open up non-engine and, of course, engine. We got planets. We got, you know, Fenrir in hand. We got everything we need. We got everything we need. And this hand was a little risky because, like, anytime you do have to start Planet, you do run the risk of just getting hurt severely by Droll. So I was very happy to see that my opponent did not have Droll there. So now I'm just going to continue on, like, business as usual here and just go for the standard combo. I already feel pretty confident no matter what, because, like, I've got Prosperity, I've got Imperm, I've got Anti-Spell. You know, I already got a lot going for me, even if I can't go any further. So we just go into the Draco Sack, detach 2, link off the Draco Sack and a token, leaving, importantly, that level 3 token for a Rorodon at home, right? And then going into Rubber Band Shooter, banishing a 7. And this is one thing I still, like, as long as I play this deck, I still struggle with this sometimes. It's like, what level 7 do I banish right off the rip? And if I'm being honest, it probably should have been Clearwing here. There's no world where I should have gotten rid of Pegasus, because Wind Pegasus being able to, like, climb into Baron just gives you so much value, especially if you aren't going into Stardust Charge Warrior. And I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I fire off the Prosperity, right? Because it's Prosperity. Like, why wouldn't I want to dig 6 cards deep? And obviously when you do that, you can't draw cards, so Stardust Charge Warrior is completely off the table. And that's like one of your main synchro climbs into Baron, is the 6, Charge Warrior with the level 4 Piper into the Baron, right? You get all that card advantage, but under Prosperity, you can't do that, so you want to synchro climb via level 7. And Wind Pegasus is the best card for that. A lot of times, some of your cards are going to be only able to be cleared in the battle phase. Your opponent's going to want to clear them in the battle phase, right? Like things like SP, Fenrir, all that stuff. And having Wind Pegasus loaded in the graveyard checks all of that. And I just kind of messed that up a little bit. That was definitely a big mistake there. I should have, banished Clearwing Synchro Dragon instead. But here I summon out the Scareclaw Cache. Before I am locked into wind effects, I special summon Car Turbo here. Now I am locked into activating only the effects of wind monsters. And that Car Turbo was super clutch to grab off of that Piper, allowing me to get into Baron here. And still into the regular combo, which will end on, Dawn Dragster, Baron and Fenrir. Of course, I could end on, like, SP Little Knight as well. Like, I could end on no Cash Monster and end on Little Knight. And here I'm debating on whether or not I go for, like, Clearwing, regular Clearwing. I don't know why I was thinking Clearwing would be so good in this matchup. Is it just because, like, is that like Visa Starfrost, or like I don't, it's just not that good of a card in this matchup, right? And I know there's only like 2 people that know what Clearwing Fast Dragon does, and that's totally understandable. But Clearwing regular Clearwing, but Clearwing Fast Dragon and Wind Pegasus being set up, like, this has been way better. And here I'm debating on whether or not I want to actually banish 6 here. But I only go for 3 because I want to leave some utility in the extra deck here, since I did, like, go for full combo. So I use a lot more in the extra deck. So I end up just grabbing the Terror Top there for follow-up, which is great follow-up. And Baron is going to go ahead and bring out the Fenrir. Not wind locked. I'm only locked into activating wind effects. So I can still go into non-winds. And I also didn't synchro lock myself with Rubber Band Shooter, because I always just used Duke to bring out the Piper there. And I wanted to go for the Dragster, just because, like, in case he had something like Cosmic, I want to be able to check it with the Dragster instead of having to use Baron. But this Droplet does force, or the Anti-Spell does force a Droplet. He pitches the, I think it's like Obsession, or maybe it's a Calarium, hard to tell underneath that, but Reichart, and immediately has to go after the Dawn Dragster and the Baron. So, and I guess it also helps to beat evenly matched. And on resolution, I'm like, you know what, I might as well just use the Birth, because Anti-Spell is up. And he's probably not going to be able to activate another spell the rest of the turn. But he's got Evenly, so I was like, damn. Droplet Evenly. That's like, that is... Like, I don't know how you beat... Like, there's a lot of new cards have come out since Droplet and Evenly have came out, but, like, that's a deadly combo. That is a deadly combo. I don't care what deck you're playing. You get hit with Droplet Evenly, you're probably not in a good position afterwards. So, I'm debating right now. I'm like, do I call his bluff? Do I keep the Anti-Spell? I'm like, no shot. No shot I keep the Anti-Spell. I'm keeping Fenrir, because that's an interruption. It's follow-up. You know, I know the deck needs to, like, link climb, get bodies on field, and having a card like Fenrir could be very beneficial to, like, mess with that game plan. And I've got Terror Top in hand, right? And if the Fenrir sticks, I've got Fenrir to grab Unicorn, or just another copy of itself, right? So here's now where we see, and I also, like, there's no way I take a chance on Anti-Spell being, like, good here. But I guess you guys and me will see. I mean, I obviously played this out, but this is like a week ago. Not really, it's like 4 or 5 days ago. But he normal summons Rykart. And, you know, I see him hesitate to use the effect, so I'm like, okay. Keeping Fenrir was probably the right choice here. Keeping Anti-Spell probably would have clowned myself. Super greedy. Super greedy. So it's just like, there are probably some decks where you maybe want to keep the Anti-Spell against, like if you're playing against like Sky Striker or something maybe. But definitely not this. Yeah, he had 2 monsters left in hand. Yeah, he's debating on special summoning that that last card there. But yeah, as soon as he chose not to use Rykart effect to search, I was like, okay, I feel pretty good about this. And he's got the Meek. And I just wanted to read the Meek. I'm like, what's the summoning condition on this? It's like Visa Starfrost or a monster with vision or attack 21 or defense, which Rykart does have. And goes into the Lightheart and uses Lightheart effect here to go ahead and grab the Rykphobia. And I know that Lightheart has a good graveyard effect. I know that I'm trying to think why exactly here might I want to use Fenrir. Okay. Yeah. So I do fire off the Fenrir here on the Meek because that is a tuner. And yeah, I'm looking at the clock right now. I know it's a tuner, and I know that he's going to probably grab one of 2 things off of the Rykphobia. It's either going to be a Rykart, or it's going to be a Visa Starfrost. And if I let him keep the Meek, he can get Visa Starfrost and then pop the Meek, right? And then Meek can summon out another Meek, and then I guess I could have Fenrir in resolution of that. I don't know, maybe it was too early. Maybe it was too early to go ahead and fire off the Fenrir there. This is also, again, my unfamiliarity with the deck. I mean, if I didn't Fenrir there, he could have technically gone into like an SP Little Knight, if you can even use Lightheart for link material. But he goes in and grabs Rykart, special summons Rykart, uses the effect here to go ahead and search. And yeah, they grab a copy of Scareclaw Arrival. In this space, just Reborn for Scareclaws. Right. Now they're checking their extra deck here. And yeah, I think maybe I made the right choice though, because I guess if I get rid of the Meek, it completely cuts him off of grabbing Visas, right? Because there's no reason to grab Visas if Meek is not on board anymore to pop. And just grabs the Arrival for follow-up, I guess. And then SP comes out and banishes the Fenrir, and I draw Judgment for turn. Which I was like, okay, fair enough. But this Terror Top is about to go crazy style. Special summon Terror Top, activate effect. And again, I know the last card in hand is just the Arrival. And I'm like, yeah, effect to go ahead and search for a Speedroid. And he chains SP here. So I was like, okay. Now we just grab double Yo-Yo. We just grab double Yo-Yo, which is not a play you really make too often. It's like Terror Top grabbing double Yo-Yo. And then double Yo-Yo effect, right, to go ahead and grab something out of the graveyard. But this is one of those rare occasions. Normal summon effect, bring out the Car Turbo in the graveyard. Unfortunately, can't bring out Piper because it is only level 3 or lower. And I'm like, all right, I've got a level 7 Synchro play here. And there really is no reason, in my opinion, to me. I mean, I could have gone for like a rubber band play there technically, but having already exhausted Terror Top didn't really make too much sense there. So I just quick synchro into the old Clear Wing and Clearing Fast Dragon, that is, swinging for 25 and just pass turn. I decided not to use the Car Turbo Engrave. End phase, Terror Top and SP come back. And I also, this is another, like, kind of, I don't know if you call it a mistake, but it's like, you know, Clearing Fast Dragon only negates monsters that are special from the extra deck, and now that SP has been banned, like, left the field and come back, I don't believe it is considered as being special from the extra deck anymore. Somebody can correct me on that if I am wrong, but I believe that's how it works. I don't think Clearing Fast Dragon can negate its effects and zero its attack anymore. So he activates the the arrival here, and I'm actually debating on using the judgment here, which I believe I do judgment it, and I take a big, it's a big leap of faith right there. Because now I'm like putting him on like that card in your hand has to be completely dead. It's got to be completely dead. So he just goes battle phase, attacks over the Terror Top for a little bit of damage there, nothing crazy, and I draw Unicorn for turn, which doesn't feel super great. So I just go battle phase, attack, playing the control game here. I've got an extra deck negate, which honestly may more be an extra deck negate now that SP is out of the equation. I'm just praying my opponent doesn't draw good. He draws one, sets one, pass. I draw Ash. I normal summon it, and I just Synchro 10 into Baron here, just because I'd rather have an Omni negate than just an extra deck negate. Baron effect to pop the set. It's just a copy of Droplet. And here, do I use the car turbo here? I don't think I do. We're just going to go ahead and battle phase, attack, swinging for a little bit of damage there. Well, I guess 3k, put him to 16, and ends up drawing for turn here. And ends up admitting defeat. So yeah, that was a close one there. That was a close one. Yeah, so we're into a game 3 situation here where I get to go second. We got Unicorn, D-Shifter, Double Ash, Droll. Not the greatest opening hand, but I'll take it. Activates the Wanted. I change Shifter to that. Feels pretty good. And yeah, I figured like that's... So I was like, yeah, this is no better time to chain it than right now. I mean, there's always that argument of like letting your opponent commit a little bit more, right? Maybe commit to one line. They don't think you have Shifter, then you Shifter them. But I don't know. It's probably better just to fire it right away, because then you don't play into talents and things like that. But I mean, this is a pretty good combination, right? I got Unicorn. I got level 3 tuners. I got one to spare. You know, under Shifter, that all works out pretty good. And I was really hoping my opponent wouldn't be able to do anything here, or they really wouldn't commit so much, because, you know, I figured D-Shifter would be like, you know, it's a wrap, right? It's a wrap. Because that means no Vicious Astrolabe. That means no Diabella stuff, really. That means... What else does it mean? No Cross Sheep plays. I'm honestly drawing a blank, but it's got to, like, shut off a decent chunk of stuff. He adds the Scareclaw Twin Saw, which is basically just Blackout for Scareclaw monsters, like the Sword Soul Blackout, which is worded very importantly so, that you need to target 2 monsters with it. 2 monsters very specifically. So if you can just keep 1 monster on field, they cannot actually use it. And they pop the Meek here with the Visas, I Ash the Meek, and keep them off of getting another body, which maybe this wasn't the best Ash, but like honestly don't know what else I was ashing, right? I guess like it keeps him off of bringing out another Meek, and it can become level 4, right? Then you can Synchro 10 and then leave the Scareclaw Rykart on field and have a way to get Baron and Twin Saw alive. I don't really know if that was like the best Ash in the world. I just figured keeping him off of less bodies would maybe do the trick there. So he ends up linking off into the Lightheart effect to go ahead and search here. And of course I've also turned off my own Droll in the process, which I mean, it's just the price of doing business, I guess. Adds the copy of Reichphobia, activates Reichphobia. That's going to go ahead and search here for a Rykart. I believe another Rykart, since he only normal summoned a Rykart this turn, did not special summon it. But of course, I believe I already used the effect. And there's that secret effect of Rykart too. Makes all monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack and defense for every defense position monster on the field. Which, you know, I've forgotten in the past, very famously in that last time I played Mannadium, I went to attack and do an Appaloosa with a Fenrir, and I was like, ooh, yeah, that's right, I'm losing a bunch of attack. And then they synchro into Baron here. So, I mean, I guess they still get to the board they wanted to. They still get to Baron plus Twin Saw, and I draw another Ash for a turn. Like, you gotta be kidding me. So I special summon out Unicorn. And obviously, there's no way I use the effect right off the rip. There's no way I normal summon Ash, because both those options lose me the game immediately. And again, I'm also just reading the effect here because I'm like, I know this does something. I know it's modifying my attacks and defense. So the only logical play here is just go battle phase, attack over the Lightheart for a little bit of damage, and he's just reading over the Twin Saw. You do need 2 targets, right, with the Twin Saw. You can't just pop 1. It's not up to 2. So I just go battle phase, no effective Unicorn, and swing in for 1900. Now main phase 2, we don't have to worry about Twin Saw. I can do something that Baron cannot interact with. It's just normal summon Ash Blossom and Link, well, Synchro rather, for a Baron de Fleur. My own Baron de Fleur. And this is interesting. I go Baron effect target the set. And, or Baron effect target Baron, and then he does not negate. Which I don't know why. Maybe they were trying to play around talents. And they'd lose the Baron either way, but it's the cost of my Baron negate. I don't know. That was a play of time. But my opponent specs Fenrir, and I'm like, oh goodness, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good card to have right here. That's also going to kind of make me, using my hand traps will come at a cost now of triggering the Fenrir, which will then force out the Baron. They special summon out Diabell, activate Diabellstar effect, and I thought about Baron negating this, but then, I have no way to check the Fenrir, so I'm like, I cannot interact with the Diabellstar here just yet. I'd rather, wait for them to go ahead and use the, what's it called? The original Sinful Spoil, Ash that, make them get rid of a card, and then they'll use the Fenrir, then which I will negate, obviously, with the Baron, and then I have the Droll and Lockbird as, a last-ditch resort. Kind of a last-ditch effort. And hope it's enough. But here they go Fenrir effect and to search, and I negate and destroy that. So that's probably going to grab Scareclaw, which is a pretty good extender for them. And then they use OSS, which I do Ash. That's just a no-brainer at this point. Although I don't really know what they're bringing out. And they pass, and I draw a Droll and Lockbird for turn. I go Baron effect, pop the Twin Saw. And then I'm like, all right, we're doing this. We're normal summoning Droll. This is what we are doing. We are linking into Rubber Band Shooter, and we are doing the old tried and true. There I go, banishing the Wind Pegasus again. Just carefree, right? And I think I never got double yo-yo here. I just get Terror Top again. Additional normal, Terror Top effects, and go ahead and search out the Tekatomborg, and then Tekatomborg into Piper. All that good stuff. We're just kind of hoping to get into a car turbo off of that. And, yeah, a car turbo off of the Piper would be godlike. I'm not even going to lie. So, bring out the Piper. We're going to go ahead and Excavate 2 here, which we so desperately need. Very low on card advantage. Raysoth and Tetherwolf. Not the best. Not the worst. And I just decide to take the Raysoth there. It's a good follow-up. The attack stat is nice as well. And my only play now is to, I go battle phase here. And I swing in because it actually would have been more damage than Baron attacking. So I go into a Clearing Fast Dragon. And, I actually decide to activate the planet here. Grab a Fenrir for follow-up. Just because, why not, I guess. And then I pass turn. I've got Droll, I've got Fast Dragon, which again is an extra deck negate and zeroes out that monster's attack until the end of the turn. So I figure that can't be horrible. My opponent admits defeat. Yeah, that was definitely a very back and forth there for a little while, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And last but not least, a big shout out goes to our current Divine level channel members, who are Pony Stark, Cadillacs, HE8 Cyber, Misfit, Green, and Robin's Assistant. Thank you guys so much as always for extremely kind and very, very generous support of the channel.